We have to be a force multiplier on this. We have to stick the landing.
In the White House, in the Oval Office, you're crushing it, my friend.
And if you want more, the members section is your backstage pass. Get exclusive behind-the-scenes photos and videos, insider moments from the studio and the field, and early access to new content before it goes public. Members can also unlock special experiences like virtual meet and greets, member-only auctions, and select event access. Plus, commercial-free viewing of certain shows inside the app. It's not just an app, it's a community. Download the RAV app today. Find it in the App Store and Google Play. When the lights go down, the truth comes out.
Tucker, you are not the father. This has to be wrong!
After Hours with Alex Stein. No filter.
If it was okay to have anal sex.
No apologies.
You were talking about things that probably you shouldn't talk about.
The undisputed king of trolling.
I finally had my own show!
At one point, your ancestors owned slaves.
They tried to cancel us.
Deplatforming works.
She wants to kill babies, but she's still beautiful. Look at that booty on AOC. That's my favorite big booty Latina.
Politics, culture, hypocrisy.
They want them to have their penises cut off.
Uncensored and uncontrolled.
Cut your penis off, actually.
That's what I'm saying. They admit they want to cut people's penises off.
Late night just got dangerous. After Hours with your host, Alex Stein, starts right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to After Hours with Alex Stein. I'm your host, Alex Stein, and you're watching it on Real America's Voice. We got a great episode for you this Friday evening. We got the great Pria Patel. She's a social media sensation. She's young, she's smart, she's pretty. She's probably the future of our country, so it's a pleasure to have her on. But before we get to her, we got to cover, more news about Savannah Guthrie, and it's just another day, another, kind of garbage leak, I guess you would say. TMZ recently heard from the same person that has given them all of the demands that they know who the kidnapper is of Nancy Guthrie, Savannah's mother. And now they're requesting $67,000, or that is equal to 1 Bitcoin is what they actually want. It's just equal to $67,000. And they say that they know who kidnapped Savannah's mom, which to me sounds like a crock of garbage. It's probably some guy on a laptop in Nigeria just totally lying. And, all of these weird coincidences surrounding the Guthries, it's really starting to make me think that this is an inside job. I mean, who benefits from this? I don't think Savannah is so sick that she would fake kidnap her mom just for the clout. But now I'm starting to think that it has to be somebody that is in their orbit, that knows the family. And it's now, I think, day 11 or 12 where there has been no proof of life whatsoever for Nancy Guthrie. I think it's highly likely that Nancy's dead. And then you look at Savannah's husband, who worked for the Clintons as a internet cleaner that would get their embarrassing information off the internet. And there's also the connection that Savannah Guthrie is one of the few hosts on NBC that actually interviewed one of Jeffrey Epstein's victims. I feel like this is meant to be a smokescreen, a distraction from what's really going on in the country. They have us all talking about Nancy Guthrie, who sadly was already 84. Not that an 84-year-old deserves to die, but that is kind of the natural progression of life. Somebody in their 80s does tend to pass away. So they have us in this low vibrational, trauma-based mind control state where we're all worrying about what's going on. You have the FBI just erected a white tent outside of the house, like they should have done that from the start. Then they show us a weird clip of a guy throwing dirt on the doorbell camera, and they can't identify him with all the technology that the FBI has today. I mean, it really makes no sense. And then on top of that, similar to Charlie's assassination. They went and tried to arrest a guy that had nothing to do with it. So I want to play SOT number 2. This is Carlos Palos from Tucson, who's a delivery driver. And this was after he got arrested, or I guess detained by the Pima County Sheriff's Department, wrongfully, of course, during a traffic stop. And they grilled him. They thought that he was a kidnapper, when in reality, he had nothing to do with it whatsoever. Let's play the clip.
Carlos, so sorry to bother you, man. What's your first and last name so we can get it right?
Carlos Palazuelos.
Okay, and you were apprehended for questioning. How would you describe what happened to you?
Terrifying. Something I didn't do for something. I was being like, I felt like I was being kidnapped, bro, because they didn't tell me anything at the beginning.
And investigators showed up to this house, or were you the one who was pulled over in the traffic stop?
I was the one that was pulled over at the traffic stop.
Where was that?
Right here on by Chubasco.
Okay, and you were taken into custody at that point?
Yeah.
And you were
I was being detained.
Detained, okay.
I was detained the whole time.
Okay,
That's
where?
what they told me.
Where were they holding
At the
you?
back of a car.
Back of a car.
Miranda car, and then they moved me into a Pima County Sheriff.
Were you being questioned in the car?
At the Miranda car, I was being questioned, but they only asked me for my first name, my last name, my date of birth, and my social.
Okay. What were they asking you about?
Where my whereabouts.
Okay.
Where did I work? Where was I? And all that. But
are you ever up in Tucson?
Yeah, I work in Tucson.
What do you do?
GLS, deliver packages.
Okay. Do you think you might have delivered a package to Nancy Guthrie's house?
I don't know. Might have been a possibility. I don't know.
So obviously, Carlos has an alibi and was not at Nancy Guthrie's house at the time of the kidnapping. So rightfully so, they let him go. But it feels like we have like the Keystone Cops that are running this operation. I mean, they're just so incompetent when it comes to actually finding out the truth in these situations that it makes me feel like if something terrible happened with my family, I would have no hope in law enforcement figuring it out. And like I say, I keep saying this, in this digital era, they can ping our cell phones. They can figure out who is where, basically from anywhere in the United States. So I just don't understand with geo-tracking, with the technology that all of these companies have, with the facial recognition software that is being put everywhere, how can we not figure out who kidnapped Savannah Guthrie's mom? Is it an inside job? I don't know, but I want to play this clip of Savannah. And I do feel like Savannah's being a victim. I feel like she's not in on it. But could it be her husband? Could it be one of her brothers and sisters? I don't know. But none of this makes sense to me. And the fact that it's getting this much media attention, I'm telling you, this is meant to be a distraction from what's really going on in the world. The Epstein files, the fact that we have an affordability crisis in this world. They love to talk about John Benet Ramsey. They love to talk about the O.J. Simpson trial. They love to talk about these random court cases to distract us from what's really going on. So I'm going to play this clip of Savannah talking about her mom, and then you can kind of just make whatever assumptions you want from the video. So that's Savannah playing a clip of her mom when she was young, and it really kind of makes you feel sad, and maybe she's doing that to try to get some sort of sympathy from the kidnappers. But I also kind of think that that is some sort of tribute video to her mother, and that she probably knows that her mom is dead, and she might not be expecting her back. But I hope they do get the body back so that they can have a proper funeral, and I hope that she's not dead. But the kidnapper didn't take any of her medicine. She's 84. They can't take her to a hospital if she does have any medical complications because they would get caught with the kidnapping. So she's in a very tough spot. And my heart goes out to Nancy. My heart goes out to Savannah. But my heart does not go out to these evil people that are doing this and that are taking all of our attention away from what's really happening in the world and making us focus on something that, at the end of the day, if an 84-year-old woman dies, it's going to be very sad, but that's just a natural progression of life. So I don't know. I don't know if we're ever going to find out what really happened. I hope we do. But I don't trust the FBI. If the FBI was that great, I don't think Dan Bongino would have left. And on top of that, Kash Patel. I love Kash Patel. I think he's related to our next guest, Pria Patel. But I also don't think that he's really in charge. There's probably people that have been at the FBI a lot longer than him that are really calling the shots, and he's just a figurehead. So Donald Trump did say that he's going to use every resource that he has to find Nancy Guthrie. But the fact that we haven't found her yet, I'm starting to lose hope. But we got to be positive, folks. We got to be positive because there are some good things that are happening in the world today, all right? There are some good things, like our next guest. She's smart. She's pretty. She's the future of this country. And I'll be honest, she's a Christian, but I think she's Indian. So hopefully she doesn't get mad at me for my recent viral video of me going and making fun of the Hindus that like to drink cow urine and eat cow poop. But we'll see. Maybe she'll yell at me, and that'll be good content either way. So coming up next, guys, we got Pria Patel to come on and give us her opinion on these weird ICE protests happening all over California and just, some of these weird Indian culture snafus that are happening here in America.
There are a few things more aggravating than seeing your tax dollars wasted by the government. All too often, when big government tries to save the day, the funds sent around the world to help people in need are diverted by corrupt leaders to line their own pockets, enrich their cronies, or further an agenda that has nothing to do with helping their countrymen. You can do a better job at promoting freedom than any government can. Scan the QR code now or visit atlasnetwork.org/RAV today to join the worldwide freedom movement. With your gift of just $19 a month, we'll send you an Atlas Network exclusive hat. Plus, we'll send the print edition of our Freedom's Champion magazine to your door. We identify, train up, and celebrate local leaders as they work to make freedom a reality across the world. Our partners often risk everything: their reputations, their livelihoods, even their lives to fight for freedom in places where authoritarianism reigns. Visit atlasnetwork.org/RAV or scan the QR code to join our mission to help pro-freedom organizations around the world. Donate $19 a month to receive your exclusive Atlas Network hat. Through every storm, every moment of uncertainty,
everybody needs to pray for Charlie Kirk right now.
RAV has stood strong.
We're not going to tolerate this stuff anymore.
Turn that anger into motivation to save this nation.
When we move together, there is power.
The cries of this widow will echo like a battle cry.
This is more than news. It's a movement.
This revolution of people taking their countries back.
A turning point. A chance to be part of something greater than yourself. Scan the QR code and stand with RAV. The story isn't over, and neither is your part in it. Step in. Be counted. Be heard. Together, we are RAV.
We will achieve American greatness. And we are just getting started.
Hello, all you Ravagers. I'm Billy Howell, your old buddy Carefree Largo from the chat, and I'm thrilled to be part of the RAV family. When I want to be heard, I use my Real America's voice.
Hi, I'm Chris from Illinois, and we like to watch Real America's Voice in the War Room with Stephen K. Bannon for all the great guts. Everyone from Kerry Lake, the great Frank Gaffney, Trump 24, Retribution.
Thank you guys so much for watching After Hours with Alex Stein. Now our next guest, she is a social media sensation. She's a very beautiful, very gorgeous. I've met her in person. I'm not even trying to hit on her. I'm just saying I think that's why she has a big following. Let's be honest, it's a lot easier for a hot girl that's smart to get a following. I mean, me, I'm ugly, so I got to go put on the tuck-friendly bathing suit and act insane at city council meetings. I wish I was a hot babe like our next guest, but she's going to come on and she's going to give us her opinion on everything that's happening in the world today and a little insight to my viral video of me, getting in a little hot water with the Indian community over my recent city council speech at Plano City Hall. So with all that being said, let's welcome on our guest, the one, the only, Pria Patel. Pria, how are you doing, my friend?
I am doing great, Alex. Thanks for having me.
I'm doing better now that you're here, now that we got some eye candy on the screen, because I look terrible.
You shouldn't put yourself short. You're a hot piece of A yourself. Okay. Don't.
I like that. Wait, frame max me. Wait, frame max me up real quick. Let me frame max. Yeah, how long to give me frame max? We got to get the editor. Yeah, I'm frame max. See, that's hotness. That is what hotness is. Okay, actually, let's start with that, Pria. Before we even get into the news, what do you think about Clavicular getting frame mugged by the ASU frat leader? Does that affect you, or does that not have any effect on your everyday life?
That has no effect on me. I've seen something to the tune of this going viral on X. I don't know what any of this is about. I learned about Clavicular maybe a couple of weeks ago when he did Michael Knowles' debate show, I think. But I've heard that this kid hits himself in the face with a hammer, so I don't think that's a good move long term for your cognition or your overall health. But hey, I don't.
Did you wait? So you're telling me, real quick, Pria? So you have a pretty face. You've never bone smashed? Is that what you're saying? I feel like you're lying. I feel like you're a secret bone smasher. How do you have such good facial symmetry? That's not from bone smashing?
I can't say that I've smacked myself in the face with a hammer I don't know how you do that to achieve face symmetry at all, to be honest with you. Yeah. I'd be curious to see it play out with maybe Clavicular can show me a tutorial, but I'm not interested in performing it on myself.
Well, I'm actually a Clavicular fan, unironically. I think it's kind of funny, but I've watched enough of his content. Now, I don't watch his live streams, but I've seen his clips. Clavicular's on retatrutide, dihexa. He's on all these peptides. Really, he's basically a drug addict. I mean, I don't know how else to describe it. He's basically... Well, I'm saying that's why he's all thin, and that's why he's just a drug addict that is able to go viral on the internet. So if he's the example for young kids, we're going to have a future that's really drugged out. So that's my only kind of criticism of him. Because if you actually look at him, he said this on a stream, because he's on testosterone, his testicles are not producing sperm. So he's really not that much different than a transgender that is on hormones, like a male to female transgender that doesn't want their body to create testosterone. So if you look at the Venn diagram, the looks maxers and the transgenders have some overlap, if you believe it or not.
You know, I'm inclined to believe you, Alex. This seems very outlandish to me. And if I'm not mistaken, I think he's only 19.
No, he's 20. He's 20. So don't.
Wow, I was so far off.
Well, he's almost 21. He can almost get drunk in the club legally, but somehow he's in all these clubs in Miami with a fake ID. Yeah. He did get his charges dropped, so I got to give him that. He's obviously got a good attorney, because I feel like they could have definitely screwed him over.
Yeah, I would imagine so. I didn't know that he had charges against him, but he did live stream himself going to a Miami club underage, so it makes sense. But that's
well, Pria, we got to talk about what everybody's talking about, the Epstein files. Now, before we play this clip of Thomas Massie, I'm sure you're just like everyone else. You want more transparency surrounding it. So the little information that you've probably done, you're probably not a freak like me that reads the files every night before he goes to bed. Not that I'm doing anything weird while I read the files. That sounds bad. No, Diddy. But my point is, what is your... I know that sounded really bad after I said it, but my point is, what is your opinion before we play this clip of Thomas Massie? Are the Epstein files important to you, or do you think it's a nothing burger like Donald Trump says?
No, I think they are important. You know, I think it's really indicative of things that we've all kind of felt when it comes to the political and the elite class, not only in this country, but the entire world. And that is that they seem to be above the law in many ways. And the fact that we have all these files coming out, and you know, some of it is a nothing burger because obviously it does include a lot of complaints and tips probably from lunatics. But at the same time, there are a lot of things in those files that are quite credible claims or leads, and they should be investigated to the fullest extent. And for the FBI and the DOJ to tell us that we just need to look away, I think is awful.
You know, I agree with you. And the point that I was trying to make earlier is that I've looked into this, and now I've even learned new stuff. You know, I knew about this in 2016. I've known about this for a long time, but I didn't know about this term jerky. Now, jerky is a code word that these people use that are cannibals that want to eat human meat. And you're like, why would somebody want to eat human meat? If you really look into it and you do some research, these people think that it has anti-aging benefits to eat the flesh of another human being. Now, that grosses me out. I'm actually a vegetarian. I don't even eat human, much less human. I don't even eat animal meat is the point I'm trying to make. So what do you think about that before we play this clip? Have you seen any of that where they're eating quote-unquote jerky, and that's a code word for human meat? Have you heard that?
I have heard that. I didn't hear the jerky term until just last night, but I've heard a lot of speculation around the cannibalism. Yeah.
That is so bizarre to me that they're not only having sex with kids, which is so bad, but then they're trying to eat them afterwards. I mean, I guess that is a good way to get rid of the evidence. But I mean, listen, I don't want to get into that. Now, what is your opinion though of Thomas Massie? Now, Donald Trump hates Thomas Massie. Now, I tend to like Thomas Massie. I think that it's very brave of him to stick his neck out there. I think it was very brave of him to get this legislation passed so that we can see these Epstein files. But at the same time, he's really he's fighting a uphill battle, to say the least. He has everybody pitted against him, and I don't like being in that situation where everybody on the left is against you, then everybody on the right is against you. You're really a lone wolf. So what is your opinion on Thomas Massie?
Yeah, I agree. I overall like Massie. I do think that he takes opportunities to take political jabs at the president whenever he gets the opportunity. But overall, I'm in favor of what he's doing, especially kind of spearing the charge when it comes to getting the files released and pushing forward with that. I generally like everything that he's doing on that front.
And I really like Thomas Massie when it came to COVID. He was really against the lockdowns. He was really against the government overreach. Right. And a lot of the people that were cheering him on back then have now done an about face and just have disregarded all the good work that he did in the past because now Donald Trump doesn't like him. So that's kind of where I'm at. It's like, guys, we need to call balls and strikes. Just because he's not a Donald Trump D-rider all the time doesn't mean you need to hate him. You know what I mean? Some politicians need to give some kickback, and I think that actually makes the president better instead of just being a yes, ma'am, or yes, sir, to everything Donald Trump says and thinks. So I appreciate Thomas Massie, but let's play shot number 4 of him talking about Jeffrey Epstein not being dead, potentially.
The question would be, is he the kind of guy who thought he was cornered and there was no way out? I don't think so. Like, Jeffrey Epstein, to me, seemed like the kind of guy who was just waiting for them to come and unlock the key and take him back to one of his mansions. Mm-hmm. And he knew, it, just like with the first conviction, he just would have to wait for a while and play his cards right. And I think he was that arrogant. That kind of arrogance is built because you got away with it before, and then you got away with it 1,000 times, and you got so much dirt. He's probably thinking, if I can get back to my hard drive, this is all over with, right?
Now, you hear Thomas Massie say this, and then there's also information that because the media was all over Jeffrey Epstein once he, quote-unquote, killed himself, that they used a decoy body at the prison to get his real body out of the prison without the media seeing it. So, to me, I think there is a small possibility, believe it or not, that Jeffrey Epstein is still alive. Now, what do you think? Is Jeffrey Epstein dead or alive, Pria?
I think we have most reason to believe that he's dead. Am I completely ruling out the fact that he might be alive? Absolutely not. I mean, the amount of crazy stuff that we see every day now, I don't think anything's off the table, and I don't think anything really surprises me all that much anymore. So the idea or the possibility that he could still be alive seems plausible to me. Have I seen a lot of evidence to favor that? Not particularly. It's all speculation at this point, but I certainly don't think it's off the table.
Yeah, I think it's possible. And there's also been weird information. Some magazine called Ditch Magazine was able to log into his FedEx account because they, went through the emails and they found out his password. And they had information that account, that FedEx account, was still getting packages up until 2014. And then there's other, I don't know if it's misinformation or if it's real, that Jeffrey Epstein had one of these video game accounts and is still currently playing video games apparently in 2025. Now, I find that one hard to believe because I don't don't think he's much of a gamer, but what do I know? I mean, a lot of people didn't know he was a pedophile until he got arrested for it. So I guess you don't know somebody until you really know somebody. So what's going on with Jeffrey Epstein is very creepy. It's very bizarre. I'm a little frustrated that nobody else has been arrested for his crimes against humanity. I think that now they're trying to do a big push to get Les Wexner, who is his biggest financier, the person that invested the most in his quote-unquote financial company. So I want to see some other people go down for his crimes against humanity and his crimes against kids. Do you think we'll get any other arrests other than Ghislaine and Jeffrey, Pria?
I certainly hope so. And honestly, if the administration and the DOJ and FBI want to restore faith with the American people, I think they're going to have to. We need to see some gains made on this front. Otherwise, they're going to lose a lot more favorability, even more than they already have. I mean, people already are very skeptical when it comes to the three-letter agencies specifically, especially the FBI. So if they want to make some positive waves, they should.
You're exactly right. And then coming up next, we're going to go into Pam Bondi and the way that she performed in that committee meeting. I was not very impressed. It seemed to me that she was kind of doubling down and tripling down instead of being a little more humble, instead of being a little more apologetic. And she did defend the president. I know that the president gave her a glowing review. But, you know, if somebody is in a meeting and they're going to only talk positive about you, yes, you're going to say she did a great job. But the optics from the American people, I don't think it was received very well. It was received very poorly from social media. So coming up next, we're going to dive a little deeper into Pam Bondi and how she's getting trolled on the internet, as well as Scott Wiener is at a kids anti-ICE protest being very, very creepy. And luckily, Pria is in the great state of California, so she can give us her California ex-libtard. Maybe she was never a libtard, but you know what I mean. Everybody in California is a libtard or libtard adjacent. So coming up next, we got a lot of stuff to cover. Thank you for watching After Hours with Alex Stein.
Hey folks, it's your friend John Rich. I co-founded Old Glory Bank because we heard too many stories about people getting canceled by their bank because they didn't agree with their politics. The government wanted to know where you shopped. If you bought a Bible or you shopped at a sporting goods store, you're probably on a list. We created Old Glory Bank because America needed a bank that would protect their privacy and security. Exercising your constitutional rights is not a criminal activity, and neither is loving your country. At Old Glory Bank, we stand with you.
I'm a J6er. I spent 1,143 days in prison.
About a year in prison.
We were prosecuted, persecuted.
J6ers have been treated like terrorists.
And we need your help.
Stand in the Gap was founded to stand in the gap for J6ers working to rebuild their lives after being incarcerated.
For just $10 or more, you can help these patriots get back on their feet again. Every dollar you give is being matched up to $50,000. Go now to j6support.com and donate today. Now is the moment to put your brand in front of an engaged, loyal audience through Real America's Voice. When you advertise on Real America's Voice, you're not just running an ad, you're partnering with trusted voices like Steve Bannon, Charlie Kirk, and other influential hosts. Backed by millions of monthly listeners.
What's happening? Because of a Real Voice, man. I watch it all the time.
Real America's Voice rocks.
Real America's Voice gives sponsors the chance to put their product front and center, displayed on screen and highlighted by our anchors during exclusive segments and live events.
Head to freetrumpknife.com.
This means your brand becomes part of the conversation as it happens.
Secure your spot before it's too late.
Join us today and make your brand part of the news conversation that America's viewers trust. Real America's Voice, where your message is seen, heard, and remembered.
My name is Sandy Zeiss. RAV is the greatest for me because I live alone, and when I'm watching in the morning, have my coffee, I feel like I'm talking with family.
Hello, this is Hockey Nut from Weyerhaeuser, Wisconsin. Just saying, tune in to Real America's Voice for the truth.
Lazar Garcianovich here from Japan. Love Real America's Voice, real news, honest views, and love seeing everyone there. God bless America.
Thank you guys for watching After Hours with Alex Stein on Real America's Voice. We have a lovely guest, the one, the only Pria Patel. She is not only beautiful, but also very smart. Now, Pria, I have to ask you, Pam Bondi is getting brutally roasted, brutally frame-mogged for talking about how the Dow is above 50,000, but I hate to break it to Pam. I don't know if she's looked at the stock market today. The Dow is now under 50,000. So do you think it's time to start investigating pedophiles now that the Dow has dropped a little bit, Pria?
Yeah, I do. Now that that's not a top priority, is that the Dow is over 50,000. Yeah, I think we should be investigating pedophiles. At this point, I think it should be one of the top priorities, if not the top priority of the DOJ.
So she's getting trolled by you, me, the internet, and she's also getting trolled by anime videos. So let's play Saw number 6 of her getting trolled in full anime. I love this video.
アメリカ国民に説明できるか。なぜお前は子供を人身売買し犯したスグマン庁舎を守っているのか。なぜお前を人身売の儀式を犯した億万庁舎を守っているのか。
了解。事実を淡々と述べるトーンでダウ平均は今5万ドルを超えています。S&P は7000部前、ナスディックも過去最高を更新しています。それこそ話題にすべきことです。それがエプスタインのファイドと何の関係があるんですか？本気ですか？
Now, that clip is so funny because it just really proves the point that it's so dumb to talk about the Dow Jones when you're in a hearing, you're in a committee meeting about a serious pedophile ring that involves some of the most influential people in America. So do you think Pam Bondi's just that out of touch? Or is she just kind of being disingenuous when she talks about the Dow? She's just using that as a way to deflect from what's really going on in that meeting.
You know, those really are the only two options. And I don't think that Pam Bondi is stupid by any means necessary. But look, her messaging on this specific issue has been a complete disaster from the start. I mean, first, the files are on my desk. You're going to have them, you know, in just a day's time. And then, oh, just kidding, there's absolutely nothing there. Oh, we're releasing the files in part, even though it's an absolute nothing burger. Everything in those binders was everything that was already released to the public prior. And now we're constantly walking things forward and walking things back. And it really looks like it's just a way for her to try and deflect and take eyeballs off of the issue. I don't know why exactly. The administration is filled with some of the best communicators in the country, if not the world. But the DOJ has been a complete train wreck on this front, and I don't understand why, but I don't think Pam Bondi is an idiot. So I have to believe that there's some sort of reasoning behind this, that she wants to somehow deflect from the issue.
You know, I have to agree with you 100%. Pam Bondi is obviously not a dumb person. I just think that she just could have eaten some humble pie and, you know, said, hey, listen, these are 3 million documents. This is hard. We're going to make some mistakes. But instead, she didn't own up to any of her mistakes and really just looked so disconnected to what the American people want, as if that she has no idea what Trump's base wants. And that, to me, was the biggest surprise in all of this, is just her lack of self-awareness. She's got no self-awareness and had very little self-awareness in that meeting. Now, Pria, you are, you know, I think you consider yourself conservative, but you have grown up and lived in California your whole life. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yep.
Well, how the hell did you become conservative in California when everybody there is so libtarded? Can you tell us how that happened?
Okay, to defend California for a second, if you look at a map of California, most counties are actually quite red. But I grew up in small farm towns and in California, so very, very conservative areas. But yeah, never was a libtard.
there are some conservative pockets of California, but you look at like LA and San Francisco, those are probably the most liberal places in the world. And you have state leadership like State Senator Scott Wiener, who's a total pervert. There's videos and pictures of him at gay pride parades dressed in BDSM clothes and wearing leather masks and showing his nipples, which is just absolutely disgusting. And he's going viral today because he participated with a bunch of young children that were doing an ICE walkout at an elementary school. Now, if I was in high school and they said, hey, we're going to walk out, I don't care what the cause was. I would just walk out because I don't want to go to math class. But if you're at an elementary school and you're walking out, that's all being facilitated by the parents. That's being facilitated by adults. Like, these little kids wouldn't even know what ICE means or is. So I want to play this clip of the state senator, openly homosexual, Scott Wiener. I mean, gosh, you can see that he's gay from outer space, of him participating with a bunch of small children doing an ICE protest and a school walkout. It's just bizarre. Let's play the clip.
I'm here with Finley at the Grattan Elementary School protest today, which has been amazing.
It's like a field trip with Stein.
So Finley, what grade are you in? Tell us about yourself.
I'm in 4th grade. I go to Grattan Elementary School, as you said, and I'm organizing this protest to stop ICE. I think it's horrific that people are getting treated this way. I wish Trump would stop doing this to people.
So how did you get the kids, your classmates, motivated?
So it started with just, high school students in Minneapolis are walking out of school. Like, that sounds like a thing I should do. But of course, my principal can't authorize a school walkout. So then it ended up getting checked out of our after school program, and then coming to the dog park, having Officer Rhodes and Officer Washington being here for safety.
Thank you for doing this for all the kids who are suffering around the country. It's really powerful.
Yeah, actually, the sign you were holding earlier was the sign I made.
Yeah, it was a good sign. Good. Well, thank you for all you do, Finley. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm so happy to be here today, and I want to say to all the kids, you are amazing. Those signs are amazing. You did a great job organizing this, and this gives me hope for the future.
I mean, I have no idea if Scott Wiener is a pedophile, but I mean, he's not doing himself any justice by hanging out with a bunch of elementary schools, taking them out of school when they're supposed to be in school. Like, to me, that used to be called kidnapping, but I guess now in this day and age, that's called being a social justice warrior. So what do you think about these young kids doing a walkout in 4th grade? Isn't that a little egregious, Pria?
Yeah, I think it's disgusting anytime anybody uses children for political propaganda, especially a state senator that is utilizing somebody else's children to push their political propaganda. It's pretty outrageous to me, and it's very obvious that these children were given scripts by either Scott or their parents. Either way, I think it's egregious to put these kids on camera and force them to march around a dog park for a cause they know nothing about.
No, you're exactly right. The parents have a lot to blame. We just had this transgender shooter, Jesse, in California. I forget their last name. But their mom transitioned them at 12 years old and told him that he was born in the wrong body. So do we have a child problem in America, or do you think we have a parent problem in America?
I think we have a parent and school administrator issue. I mean, schools, especially elementary, middle school, and high schools, should have no place speaking about politics. The only flags that should be hung on the wall or inside or outside of the school should be the American flag and maybe the state flag, but that's just about it. There shouldn't be any pride flags, let alone the terrorist pride flag with the triangle and all the extra things on there. No BLM flags, none of it. It should be the American flag, your state flag, and that's just about it. Pushing these political agendas on these children from such a young age is so harmful to them. I mean, when did we go from let's teach kids how to think instead of what to think? Now that's all they teach. They only teach kids what to think. And if it doesn't fit with their political agenda, they're going to have retribution against children. So...
It's insane. No, you're exactly right, too, about the flag. Because really, what is the only difference between a straight person and a gay person? It's their sexual preference. So what does that mean when it comes to a gay flag? That means that that flag basically only symbolizes your sexual preference. So why would you want to have a flag that dictates your sexual preference in an elementary school where you're not supposed to be talking about sex whatsoever? So the idea of pride flags in classrooms makes me sick. That is, to me, that's pedophilic. It's an attack on children's sexuality, and it's meant to confuse kids and indoctrinate them into this weird woke ideology and make them confused about their sexual orientation and who they're even sexually attracted to. It's ridiculous to me, and I'm happy that you're willing to speak out about it. And I'm trying to speak out about it. You know, I was going to a lot of Texas hearings. I'm just saying this is a serious, serious thing that's happening all over the country, but it's specifically in California. And as bad as the sexual indoctrination of kids are, one topic I really care about is I'm anti-abortion. If I ever got you pregnant, which that would never happen, Pria, because I know you'd never let me to do that. But if we did, we would not have an abortion. But then you have Gavin Newsom's wife, Jennifer Seibold Newsom, making Gavin Newsom step aside at this Planned Parenthood press conference, just celebrating abortion, when to me that is child sacrifice. So let's play the clip, then I want to get your reaction.
No, we just find it incredulous that we have Planned Parenthood here, and women are 51% of the population, and the majority of the questions, all of these questions, have really been about other issues. Not about. So it's just fascinating. You have this incredible women's caucus and all these allies, and you're not asking about it. And this happens over and over and over and over again. You wonder why we have such a horrific war on women in this country, and that these guys are getting away with it, because you don't seem to care. So I just offer that with love. You have incredible women in this room, and you have these allies. Ask about what we're here for today, don't you think?
So this was a meeting celebrating how California got $90 million to continue to fund abortions, even though Roe versus Wade got overturned, which in my mind, you know, if a state wants to choose to do it, I mean, I guess that is what states' rights are. But for her to say that there's a war on women and not talking about biological men competing against women in women's sports, that's the real war on women. So what is your opinion on this? Is this more victimhood mentality? Why is she going there and saying there's a war on women when that whole press conference is about killing young women in the womb?
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. You know, there is no war on women aside from, transgenders invading our bathroom and our sports. But it's pretty ridiculous to claim that there's a war on women. I mean, honestly, women have far more rights than men do in this country. So I think that's a complete cope and finger pointing game just to play the victim. And I find it funny that she claims that there's a war on women. She doesn't seem to know what a woman is, considering she considers herself the quote unquote first partner of the governor of California. She can't even call herself a woman or a wife, which I find very interesting. But, you know.
Hey, listen, I'm going to say this about Jennifer Seibold. She is hot. I think that's why Harvey Weinstein was all into her. And maybe she had to get one of his babies aborted. I don't know that. I'm just speculating that. Allegedly, maybe that happened. So maybe that's why she's pro-abortion. A lot of people that are pro-abortion, maybe it's oftentimes they had one or they're in a situation where they know somebody that had one. And I can understand financially it is hard to have a baby. But at the end of the day, when you say it's just a clump of cells, it's not just a clump of cells. It's a human life. It has a soul. And it's sad every time a baby gets aborted. And especially people in your generation, I believe over 1/3 of the population of your generation have been aborted, Pria. That's a harsh reality that not a lot of people know about. And people like Jennifer will never tell the American public that that is what's really going on when they fund $90 million and go against the federal government and kill babies systematically in the womb. So it's really disgusting. It's really sad. But coming up next, I think Pria and I are going to debate. Even though she is really hot, believe it or not, I think she's Indian. I don't know her. I don't know what she is ethnically. I'm colorblind. But we're going to find out next, and we're going to play some shocking videos coming out of India of some stuff you couldn't even imagine. People reusing cups. It's absolutely disgusting. But I love my Indians. But the Indian I love the most is Pria Patel. So coming up next, you don't want to miss it.
We'll be right back with more After Hours on Real America's Voice.
Hey folks, it's your friend John Rich. I co-founded Old Glory Bank because we heard too many stories about people getting canceled by their bank because they didn't agree with their politics. The government wanted to know where you shopped. If you bought a Bible or you shopped at a sporting goods store, you're probably on a list. We created Old Glory Bank because America needed a bank that would protect their privacy and security. Exercising your constitutional rights is not a criminal activity, and neither is loving your country. At Old Glory Bank, we stand with you.
I'm a J6er. I spent 1,143 days in prison.
About a year in prison.
We were prosecuted, persecuted.
J6ers have been treated like terrorists.
And we need your help.
Stand in the Gap was founded to stand in the gap for J6ers working to rebuild their lives after being incarcerated.
For just $10 or more, you can help these patriots get back on their feet again. Every dollar you give is being matched up to $50,000. Go now to j6support.com and donate today. Now is the moment to put your brand in front of an engaged, loyal audience through Real America's Voice. When you advertise on Real America's Voice, you're not just running an ad, you're partnering with trusted voices like Steve Bannon, Charlie Kirk, and other influential hosts. Backed by millions of monthly listeners.
What's happening? Because of a real voice, man. I watch it all the time.
Real America's Voice rocks.
Real America's Voice gives sponsors the chance to put their product front and center, displayed on screen and highlighted by our anchors during exclusive segments and live events.
Head to freetrumpknife.com.
This means your brand becomes part of the conversation as it happens.
Secure your spot before it's too late.
Join us today and make your brand part of the news conversation that America's viewers trust. Real America's Voice, where your message is seen, heard, and remembered.
My name is Sandy Zeiss. RAV is the greatest for me because I live alone, and when I'm watching in the morning, have my coffee, I feel like I'm talking with family.
Hello, this is Hockey Nut from Weyerhaeuser, Wisconsin. Just saying, tune in to Real America's Voice for the truth.
Lazar Garcianovich here from Japan. Love Real America's Voice, real news, honest views, and love seeing everyone there. God bless America.
Back to After Hours on Real America's Voice.
Thank you all so much for watching After Hours with Alex Stein, coming to you from the Lone Star State of Dallas, Texas. And our current guest, Pria Patel, is in California. And I'm just going to be honest. She's the hottest Indian girl I've ever seen, but she just corrected me. She's half Indian, half white, so she's the best of both worlds. She's good at tech, and she's good at being, I don't know, what are white women good at? OnlyFans? No, I don't know. That's not a good example. But regardless, I don't know what white women are good at, but she is good at everything, and she's good looking. Now, Pria, when I first saw you online, I thought, is this Kash Patel's ex-wife? Who's this hot babe getting millions of views? Have other people connected you with Kash because you have the same last name? And I know that's a very common last name, but have other people made that assumption?
It is a very, very common assumption that people make, whether I'm related or have been or am married to Kash Patel. With a quick Google search, most people can probably deduce that I'm not related, nor am I married to Kash. But it did bite me in the butt. At the beginning of the administration, I tweeted out a couple of times because people kept making this mistake, and I joked and I said, "Yay, go cousin," or something along those lines. And now everyone thinks that I am actually related to Kash, but I'm not, at least not to my knowledge.
Okay, well, that's good because, I like Cash. I'm actually friends with Cash, or I was closer friends before he became the FBI director. And now that he's the FBI director, I think he's in a really tough position. Like, you get hired in that role and you're the new guy there, and there's guys that have been there for 20 or 30 years that are really calling the shots. So he's basically just a figurehead. So I'm very empathetic to Cash, but for them to kind of say that this Epstein thing was a, no big deal and that, that Epstein did kill himself, I'm starting to lose a little bit of faith and trust in Cash. So listen, he's the most powerful Indian guy in America, and you as a half Indian, I think that we can applaud that we have a country where a person can come here and work really hard and become successful. It doesn't matter their race, color, ethnicity, or gender. So that is the true American first story, that Cash is a success story, no doubt about it. But I want to play some clips from India. Now, I know you shared my video. I'm going viral because I recently spoke out about this Hindu culture that it's invading the North Texas area. Frisco has 33% of the population of Indians are actually in North Texas. And in this video, it went super viral. But it went viral because India has 1.5 billion people, and all 1.5 billion of them hate me. So before I get your reaction to it, you don't hate me, Pria, right? You forgive me for my transgressions against the Indian community. Please forgive me.
I certainly don't hate you, and I think that the large majority of the population in India hate me as well. They see me as a traitor to their nation that I've never been a member of. So.
Hey, I know how that feels sometimes. Me just even criticizing Donald Trump, all of a sudden they think I'm they think I'm a libtard. It's hard to kind of go against the grain, but that's how we should be. We need to be intellectually honest, and we need to have integrity, even if it's not the most popular opinion. So I want to play this video that's going so viral. This is at a cricket match in India. And, actually, if you look at India, I think they had a lower death rate than America when it came to COVID. So maybe this is actually beneficial for their health because they're able to build up antibodies by not having to be, Well, that's what I'm saying. The fact that they're not following all of the COVID rules that we followed, maybe their immune system is able to build up a little stronger because they have some bacteria. So let's play this clip of this cricket match of them reusing the cups without washing them. Let's play the clip.
ये देखो अरुण जेटली स्टेडियम अभी जो थम्स बच गई है ना ये सारी ये बोतल में डाल रहे हैं वापस और अगला जो भी मैच होगा उसमें चली जाएगी ये सारी देख रहे हो स्कैम ये एक बिना गैस वाली थम्स अप पीते हो तुम सब ये देखो भाई वो भी आधा मिलता है ये देखो भाई अब ये बोतल पैक होके अगले मैच में यूज होगी.
Now they're calling this the Delhi cricket scandal. I mean, what do you think about that? Is that just them being frugal, or is that just kind of the standard operating procedure in India from what you see on the internet? What is your opinion on all that?
I don't know. It might be protocol for them. I actually have no idea. I wouldn't put it past them. I mean, I haven't been to India since I was a very small child. We took a trip once as a family when I was younger, and I am very aware that my family tends to travel with doctors just because the water tends to be incredibly disgusting and contaminated, and some of the hygiene practices at some smaller local restaurants. We are very particular on the restaurants. Well, my family rather is very particular on the restaurants that they attend and make sure that hygiene and the quality of the water and cooking materials is up to par at the very least. But I think this is disgusting, although I don't know that it would be exclusive to, at least this case in particular, I don't know that it would be exclusive to India. There are probably places in America.
Well, yeah, you're actually probably right. Wait, Pria, I have to be honest, you're probably right. They're probably doing the same thing in Kentucky or Alabama. They're probably reusing cups. But I just want to play a small snippet of this news report because they are calling it a scandal in Delhi. So let's play a little bit of this report.
Has sparked outrage by allegedly showing stadium workers reusing leftover beverages during a tournament fixture. The footage, which surfaced on platforms like X, appears to show staff members carefully pouring leftover soft drinks from used water cups back into large bottles. The implication of the video is that these beverages were being repackaged to be resold to unsuspecting fans. This incident has brought significant negative attention to the tournament's logistical management and has raised serious health and...
Okay, that's enough Indian hate, because if I'm being honest, Pria, if I could impregnate you, I would. I would like to have a quarter Indian baby with you. I don't know if your dad would approve of that, because some of my viewpoints can be very controversial. But you know who's also a hot Indian I was just thinking about? Real quick, I got to keep talking. Brandon Gill, Dinesh D'Souza's daughter. So are you friends with her? Could you imagine you two walking in the room? Those are the two hottest Indian babes in the whole entire country. Now they're in America. So what do you think about Dinesh D'Souza's daughter? She's pretty hot.
I have never met her, but I love her. I love Brandon. Dinesh is great. Him and I follow each other on X, but that's the extent of our interactions together.
Well, we all need to hang out, and then Brandon can have a baby, and then maybe I can convince you to have a baby with me, because I need to have one, and you're young. I think you're in your childbearing years, so maybe I can trick you into having an Indian baby. Because, honestly, I was a pretty good baseball player. Maybe they can be a cricket player. I think that there are some aspects of Indian culture that is really good. Now, you do get called a traitor, and I don't think you're a traitor at all. But obviously, you're very Americanized. Is there kind of a funny dynamic with your parents, one being white and one being Indian? Can you give us inside baseball of what that dynamic is like?
The funny thing is that my dad, who is, of course, the Indian side of my family, is actually very, very Americanized and very patriotic. My dad is an immigrant. He moved here when he was in his early teens, but he moved here from England. So he was already very westernized prior to coming here. But there's not really any sort of strange dynamic between my parents, especially on a cultural level. So.
Well, that's good, because, they hear all this stuff on the internet. All these Indians don't wear deodorant. They don't do this. I bet your dad has a bunch of deodorant. I bet your dad smells great, because you know what? I can just tell. I can't smell you, but I have met you. You smelled great. You're one of the nicest smelling women I've ever met, Priya. And I'm not just saying I smell a lot of women. I'm a freak. I'm kind of like a dog in that sense. And you smelled great. So every stereotype, all this BS and this misinformation that people like Alex Stein are spreading on the internet, you guys should be ashamed of yourself. And that Priya is a shining example that Indians are beautiful people, and she might be the most beautiful one. I think we could have a contest with Brandon Gill's wife. I keep forgetting her name, but that's neither here nor there. So, Priya, thank you so much for joining us. Where can people find you and support you? Because I know that you've been going so viral online. And let's be honest, it's because you're hot and you're smart, and that's a good combination. And a lot of times it's usually one or the other with these women. So I think you're going to be incredibly successful, but I hope I can make you more successful. So how can our audience help you and support you, Priya?
Thank you, Alex. You can find me on all the platforms. You can find me on YouTube. You can find me on X, Instagram.
Wait, time out. Not all the platforms. You're not on OnlyFans, I hope. I hope you're not on all the platforms. You better not be on that one. Because I would like the link if you do have that. If you're on it, send me the link, though. I'm just for research purposes.
I'm definitely not on OnlyFans.
Well, you said all the links. Wait, everybody, their Instagram. No, Priya, I have to keep cutting you off. You see all these girls, link in bio. Show both of us. What does link in bio mean, though? That's what they all say, link in bio. So I want to see Priya's face. All right, Priya. Well, thank you so much for joining us. She does not have a link in bio. She is not an OnlyFans girl. She's a smart, beautiful Indian woman she rides horses, too. You ride horses. Is that correct, Priya?
I do ride horses, yes.
Very Taylor Swift-esque of you. All right, Priya, thank you so much. And did you say, actually, let me finish you explaining where they can find you. Sorry about that.
No, you're good. You can find me on all the standard social media platforms. No OnlyFans. It's just my first name followed by 2 E's, and yeah.
I can imagine your dad would probably kick your derriere if you're on a website like that. And I mean it. I think you're going to be incredibly successful. Just keep on, making these videos. Believe it or not, like, you have to work, every day to become an overnight success. But I think that you already became an overnight success. So congratulations on all that. Congratulations on your social media following. I know it's only going to get bigger from here. And I just want to say thank you for joining After Hours with Alex Stein. All right, guys, that's been our show. It's been a great one. I love India. I hope that I can have a quarter Indian baby with our last guest. I hope she's not listening to that, because she's going to think that's creepy. But guess what? I'm a creep. I'm a freak. I'm Primetime 99 Alex Stein. You've been watching After Hours on Real America's Voice.
Hey folks, it's your friend John Rich. I co-founded Old Glory Bank because we heard too many stories about people getting canceled by their bank because they didn't agree with their politics. The government wanted to know where you shopped. If you bought a Bible or you shopped at a sporting goods store, you're probably on a list. We created Old Glory Bank because America needed a bank that would protect their privacy and security. Exercising your constitutional rights is not a criminal activity, and neither is loving your country. At Old Glory Bank, we stand with you.
I'm a J6er. I spent 1,143 days in prison.
About a year in prison.
We were prosecuted, persecuted.
J6ers have been treated like terrorists.
And we need your help.
Stand in the Gap was founded to stand in the gap for J6ers working to rebuild their lives after being incarcerated.
For just $10 or more, you can help these patriots get back on their feet again. Every dollar you give is being matched up to $50,000. Go now to j6support.com and donate today. Now is the moment to put your brand in front of an engaged, loyal audience through Real America's Voice. When you advertise on Real America's Voice, you're not just running an ad, you're partnering with trusted voices like Steve Bannon, Charlie Kirk, and other influential hosts. Backed by millions of monthly listeners.
What's happening? Because of a real voice, man. I watch it all the time.
Real America's Voice rocks.
Real America's Voice gives sponsors the chance to put their product front and center, displayed on screen and highlighted by our anchors during exclusive segments and live events.
Head to freetrumpknife.com.
This means your brand becomes part of the conversation as it happens.
Secure your spot before it's too late.
Join us today and make your brand part of the news conversation that America's viewers trust. Real America's Voice, where your message is seen, heard, and remembered.
My name is Sandy Zeiss. RAV is the greatest for me because I live alone, and when I'm watching in the morning, have my coffee, I feel like I'm talking with family.
Hello, this is Hockey Nut from Weyerhaeuser, Wisconsin. Just saying, tune in to Real America's Voice for the truth.
Real America's Voice is growing, and now it's all in one place. Introducing the new and improved RAV app, built for access, community, and choice, not paywalls. Here's the key. RAV is still free to watch. No sign-in, no membership required. Your favorite live streams, breaking coverage, and video on demand are all right there. Free, just like